It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality.
For those of y'all that are new to Pre-PT Grind, my name is Joseph Ngugi. I am a physical therapist. I am also a PT school acceptance coach. And what we do is we help you get into physical therapy school without wasting time or money. So if you're like, yo, I'm trying to get into PT school, I love PT, or I'm interested in physical therapy, and I'd love to learn about it more, you're in the right place. And you are tuning in for what has become my absolute favorite series that we do. It's called the Pre-PT Inspire series, where we bring in students that have been a part of our coaching program, the Accepted System, which you can find out more about at 𝗪𝗡𝑒𝑑system.com if you want to apply with us. But these are students that have gotten accepted into physical therapy school after working with us and are sharing their story. And the reason why I love it is because I think a lot of times as pre-PTs, we feel alone. We feel like we're the only ones going through the struggles that we're going through. I'm the only one that's doubting myself. I'm the only one that feels anxious. I'm the only one that doesn't feel good enough. And the reality is a lot of people feel like that. A lot. We felt like that when we were pre-PTs, right? And so what we decided to do is we said, hey, instead of just telling you that everyone feels like that, why don't you just listen to some real stories of students that have gotten to where you're trying to get to, which is PT school, right? But they're sharing their whole story and the truth and the good moments, which is obviously getting in, but also the tough moments, right? Where they doubted themselves as well and they struggled. And if you've missed the other 50, I believe it's 56 episodes that we've had already. This is episode 57. If you've missed those, oh my, like if tonight inspires you, which I'm more than sure it will, then go back and listen to the others and just be inspired, because these are real scenarios that allow you to feel like, wait, like a lot of the struggles I'm feeling, these other students actually experienced. And if they could do it, then so can I. So that's it. If you can leave this interview or any of the other series with that feeling and that mindset, then we've done our part, and that's all we want. So tonight we have the one and only Dr. Spencer, who recently got accepted into PT school this year, and she's going to be sharing her story, the good, the bad, and all that stuff. So Dr. Spencer, how are you feeling? First of all, we got Facebook working, so we're good. But outside of that, how are you feeling about tonight?
I'm so excited. You know, if I can help anybody, a single person,
Yeah.
I would love that, because it was definitely a struggle for me, and I made it. So
You 100% made it. You most certainly made it. And so for those of y'all that are watching this live, I want y'all to comment #team live or #team replay below so that we know that you're here. But as you're listening to tonight's story, just ask yourself, how does this apply to me? How does this affect my story? How does this increase my belief in myself and my ability to become a strong PT school candidate? And more importantly, who can I share this with? Like, is there someone else I can inspire with this story, with this interview? So y'all sit back, relax, enjoy, and grow. Be motivated, be inspired, and keep taking strides towards becoming physical therapists. But we'll get to all that stuff. So let's start from the beginning, though. So Dr. Spencer, and I'm gonna call you doctor just because that's what it just is gonna be. Like even before you got accepted, I called you Dr. Spencer from
you
the
did. You called me Dr. Spencer since the first day I met you, and it has a nice ring to it.
It sounds great, doesn't it? Dr. Spencer sounds phenomenal, and that's exactly. I mean, all you got to do is graduate now, and you're fine. So there you go. So tell us why PT. Where did your passion or your love for physical therapy begin? Because that'll tell us a lot about just not only where you started, but what drove you. And then we'll get to the not so fun parts of your story. But what drew you to physical therapy to begin with?
Yeah, so I actually started my PT journey as a patient. So in high school, I was a competitive soccer player. I had aspirations to play collegiate soccer, and I was at a scouting tournament, ended up fracturing my L5 vertebrae in my back, ending my soccer career. After 6 months of physical therapy and feeling like my identity was lost. I didn't know who I was anymore. I couldn't relate to people around me that weren't in the sports world. Um, I just wanted to help people, prevent them from feeling that way, prevent them from feeling alone, from their identities being snatched away from them. Because when you do something every day of your life, it becomes like who you are. And then when you're not able to do it anymore, it's like, well, who am I without this? So that's kind of where it started. And then my love for the field grew when I started working as a tech. I teched at a couple of different clinics, and I got to hear all of my patients, or all of the patients at the clinics, stories, and be a part of their journey and just like uplift them, and just even asking how somebody's day is kind of like changes the course of their life in a way. Like you're influencing them just by like being there and by being positive and like saying, you can do this, you will get through this. So that's why I love it. Like I'm able to help people get out of the place that I was in. And so that's kind of where I started.
I love it. I love it. Like you were on the receiving end of physical therapy, and that
Mhm.
was like the initial kind of plant, and then obviously working within that space as a tech. I mean, obviously that adds to it because now you're exposed to other people that are where you were, right, as a patient. So I love it. That gives us a little bit of an idea of kind of where you started and why PT, because I think it's just good to be aware of why, because I think sometimes we forget it, especially when things are not going as well. And I think kind of going back to that original, like, this is what I want to do and why, always gives us, a little bit of extra drive and push that we need when things are not great. And so I love the fact you shared that with us. Thank you so much. And which leads me to my second question. What were the biggest struggles? Like now you chose physical therapy. You knew how important PT was from the position of being a patient. Like that in itself is powerful. Right? You're like, I know what it did for me, and now I've seen what it's done for other people. So now you're like, I really want to do this. Like I really want to serve in this way. But there were some roadblocks for you. So what were those for you, so that the students listening right now, the ones that are struggling right now, can be like, wow, like maybe one of them might resonate with them. And so I would love to hear what yours were. What were your biggest struggles?
So before I even applied, I was not a 4.0 student. I knew I wanted physical therapy, and I thought the only way to do that was getting a 4.0. So I literally retook almost all of my science courses to get A's in them because I had no clue that you could get in without having a 4.0. So that was the first struggle. Lots of money spent, and um, just working several jobs through college to try to pay for those retakes. And so that was the first roadblock, was trying to retake those classes so I could get into PT school. Then I started applying. Last summer I applied, and I realized I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't have anybody to turn to at the time. I didn't even know that communities like this existed. And so I was stuck. I would open up the application and freeze. My anxiety just took over, and I could not do anything. And so that was the beginning of my summer. I put off taking the GRE because I told myself, like, if I fail, it was just like this mindset, like, I'm going to put it off so I don't fail. Because if I get a grade that I don't want, or that's not like as high as like somebody else's, then I'm a failure. And so I had this like toxic mindset, and that was one thing, a huge thing that held me back. And so I waited till the very last minute to take my GRE. I only had one shot. I barely made the cutoff to even be able to apply. And so I was just in a terrible place. And with COVID and everything else going on in the world, it was like just one thing after another. I say it was one of the most terrible experiences of my life, but it was because I didn't know like anything or any resources. I thought I didn't have any resources, which is fake news. Fake news, y'all. This is a huge resource. But that was one of the biggest struggles. And then I started getting rejection letters back, and I was like, okay, I did something wrong. Like, what if this isn't for me? And then some of my mentors, physical therapists, they're like, well, you should start looking into other career paths. Like, what about something else in the medical field, something more achievable? Because like, obviously something like it's not working out. So I was like, okay. So I started looking into other career paths, and it was just exhausting. And then I finally got some interviews, and the interviews went terrible. They were so bad. I walked into one interview, and I'm an Aggie. I graduated from Texas A&M University. Whoop, you should be proud to be an Aggie. I walked into an interview, and the interviewer straight up said that he doesn't like Aggies. And I said, okay, well, nothing I can do about that. And I didn't really think much of it until it was one of the main reasons I didn't get into that school. Because I wrote him, I was like, hey, I got the rejection letter back. I was like, hey, can you explain why, or give me some pointers moving forward as to why the interview didn't go well? And he said that he wrote me a page-long email of like things I needed to change, and that I was sitting in an aggressive manner. And like, if you have like your hands on the desk in front of you, it looks aggressive. So at that point I was like, okay, well, I suck. I can't do anything right. And so that led me up to December, and I still hadn't heard back from a couple of schools. And then come January, and I met y'all, and y'all changed my life. But those were some of the struggles I faced.
Wow. First of all,
be real. You said be real. So.
No, that's exactly what I want. So real quick, for those of y'all that are listening to this either live or on replay, did any of those resonate? And then I want to come to that one faculty member, because that was not cool. But we'll get there. Did any of those things resonate with you guys? Whether that is feeling like you have no clue what's going on. You're like, hey, I'm applying and I have no idea what's going on. I feel extremely alone. These are the things I was hearing as you were talking. I feel extremely alone in the application process. I'm ridiculously afraid of not doing well. So let's talk about procrastinating, right? We procrastinate on everything, the GRE, reaching out for letters of recommendation. I'm afraid, well, you didn't say that one, but like, for some people, their fear is, what if the person says no? Or their fear is, what if I retake the class and it doesn't go so well? And so now what happens is we start to kind of push off the things that we're afraid of, right? Until we're basically kind of pinned to the wall and we get one shot at something, right? So that's kind of what happened with the GRE. But just kind of feeling like you were just being tossed around, right? Even like for the interviews, you're like, I had no idea what I was doing, right? And all those things. And the reason why we have to talk about this stuff, y'all, is because and you actually said it, you started to basically feel like you weren't good, right? Like you weren't, whether it was you weren't smart enough or you weren't qualified enough, whatever that was. And even you have other, the words of other therapists basically also telling you, hey, pick something else. Think about something else. Think about a different career path. Trying to guide you with redirection. It's y'all be careful with who y'all take advice from, by the way. But that's tough to carry. And so for those of y'all that are listening right now, and you're like, yo, at least one of those things is me right now, then keep listening, because this is real and we have to talk about it. Like, this is why I was like, tell them everything. Tell them the truth. Because when you guys are experiencing those things, it's very easy for someone else to step in and tell you, you know what, this is a sign. Maybe you're the one telling yourself that. You're telling yourself, I love PT, but maybe it's just not for me. Maybe it's just not, maybe I'm not built for it. And all it takes is one professor, one advisor, one parent, one friend, one person. All it takes is one to kind of throw you off your game, right? For you, it was one school, one school that almost threw you off, right? And that's part of the reason why I tell students that not every school is for y'all, right? And it's okay for you to actually look at a school and be like, I'm glad I'm not going there. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. It's literally just like a relationship, right? If in a relationship, if you were a match for every single person out there, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but the truth is you're not, right? So because of that, there are a whole bunch of people that you're like, it's a good thing that didn't work out, right? It's a good thing we're not together, and so it's the same thing with schools. So I want you guys to just understand that those things are experienced by a lot of other people. I think if we can first understand that, then all of a sudden it's not a matter of, oh, that means that I'm not good enough. Oh, that means I'll never be able to get into PT school, because that's just not true. Is this making sense so far? For those of y'all that are watching live, can y'all say makes sense in the chat if this is making sense so far? And for you, Dr. Spencer, same thing. Like obviously now we're on the other side and we can look back and say, yay, we made it. But those moments are tough. Like, those are tough. And if we don't reframe how we think about it, if we don't go back to the initial calling, like look at your first answer to my first question. Like, I was a patient, then I was a tech. Like, you had a profound level of clarity that this is how you wanted to serve. And I think that gets clouded by the struggles.
It does.
So we have to go back and say, okay, cool. Like, why did I want to do this in the first place? Is this a calling? Do I feel called to this? Do I feel like this is how I'm meant to serve people? If it is, then keep going. Keep going. If other people start to play with your mind and mess up how y'all are thinking, whether it's a bad interview, whether it's a bad conversation, well, I need y'all to start filtering those people out, or start looking for other people that think completely differently. And that's the conversation we're about to get into right now. But it exists, right? Whether it's, I mean, obviously the acceptance system and pre-PT ground, we have a nice community, but there are people out there that believe in your dream, sometimes even more than you do, right? There are people out there that have struggled with the same things that y'all are struggling with, right? Y'all are listening to an interview right now with someone that is one of those people, right? Like, Dr. Spencer has been in that same space. And like, I can almost guarantee that if someone came up to you right now and said, hey, I'm doubting myself because of similar things, you'd probably be the first to tell them, like, let me tell you about my story real quick. Yeah, like,
you can doubt yourself because I'll believe in you for you.
Look at that. But that only comes with changing how you think. But it also comes with experience as well. And so so I appreciate you sharing that. And obviously you said that you found us. So what led you to say, hey, I need to find some other people? Like, what led you to say, hey, I need to find some direction? Basically, what pulled you towards the acceptance system? And then also, how did the acceptance system help you once you joined in? What were the things that you're like, wow, these were, obviously you kept saying, I wish I found this earlier, but nonetheless, you found this, right? So what were the things that you were like, this really shifted how I thought about certain things? Tell us about that as well. And then we'll dive into your acceptance letter and all that cool stuff.
Yeah. So how did I find y'all? It honestly was I have nothing to lose at this point. Like, I'm desperate, like desperation. And so I was at the lowest of the lows, and I think I was on TikTok or something. And I think my phone heard me say like PT sucks or something. And so all these PT videos started popping up, and Casey pops up. And I saw Casey and I was like, what is this guy doing? And then it led me to y'all's page, and I found y'all, and I ended up getting on a call with Casey. And I was like, hey, this is my situation. Like, I've already applied. I don't even know like if this is the right fit for me. Like, I know y'all help like people that are about to apply. Um, and he's like, well, yes, we can help you. One, and two, like, what do you have to lose? Like, at this point, like, is there any reason not to take like a leap of faith and try this? Like what is there to lose? Like a little bit of time. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I don't have anything to lose at this point. So I signed up, and the first thing y'all talked about was clarity, and like kind of like you were mentioning, like why, like finding your why and surrounding yourself with people that your community that will like build you up and that have the same mindset as you. And so that's how I found y'all. What was that second part that you were wondering?
So the second part, first of all, love that answer. Second part is what were the things that you kind of went into it a little bit? What were the things that the acceptance system did for you in terms of changing how you thought about this entire process? What were the key things that you're like, wow, like those were some key changers, like key game changers for me within my, just how I thought about myself, the application, after kind of going through the first portion of the application, feeling like I was getting dragged basically. So what were the things that really, really helped you a ton once you joined the program?
So meeting like-minded people was the first part. I was like, I didn't even know these people existed. I didn't know that people actually struggled with the same things that I struggled with. And then changing my mindset, y'all really helped me. Like, I have work like lists of things that I tell myself. I wake up every day and I tell myself like I'm going to be a doctor of physical therapy. And that was like one of the things that y'all taught me. Like, you need to start speaking like things into existence, because it's going to happen. And hanging like little letters from my patients up in my bathroom window so I can look at them and read them and remind myself of my why every single day. Like, I helped this person achieve their goal. Like, that's my why. Like, I want to help people. And I didn't realize with the acceptance system that it wasn't just, it's so much more than getting people accepted, because y'all help people way after they've been accepted. Like, y'all are still helping me now and I've been accepted. So like with scholarships and learning how to like financially support yourself in PT school, like things that you don't even think of. Like, no pre-PT is thinking of these things, and y'all help me so much. Like, prepare myself. I'm over here like not worried about financials nearly as much as I was because of y'all's help. Like, I've set myself up in a place where I'm ready to kill PT school and become a doctor. Dr. Spencer, here I come.
Doctor, listen, it's been written in the books from the jump. That's why I've been calling you Dr. Spencer. So I love that, and yeah, I mean, y'all heard it from her. I mean, I didn't say any of that. So if after hearing that, y'all like, hey, I want a little bit of what Dr. Spencer had, because I'm stuck. There are two places that I will send you to. So the first one is, oh my goodness, this one will just give you a profound level of clarity. Go to acceptancenavigator.com. Acceptancenavigator.com. That's a 4-part video series that Casey and I do, and it literally just gives you the blueprint to just understand, this is what I've never been taught about how to become a strong applicant. Trust me, it's a game changer, and we did it on purpose, and it's free. Go watch it if you're like, hey, I just need some next steps to learn a blueprint that is unlike anything I have seen before, because a lot of us are just told, try, and then if it doesn't work out, figure out something else, or maybe you're not qualified, or try again, or just take every class possible. And it's just, it doesn't work like that. So go watch that. And then if you're, the next group is, if you're like, I just need guidance, coaching, direction, I want to be a part of a community like that, I want clarity and step-by-step guidance like that, then I want you to go to acceptedsystem.com. That is the landing page for our coaching program. Go read it, go apply for it, and if you qualify, you might get in. But that's where I would say to go, because at the end of the day, you guys are not alone in this process, and it's just good to know that. Just be self-aware with yourself. Know, hey, this is what I need. This is where I'm stuck. And then ask yourself, what's it really costing me? What's it costing me to not know? What's it costing me to, like, is it my energy? Is it my stress? Is it time? Is it money? Like, what is it, right? And then make your decision from there. But those are the two places that I would send y'all. So that's enough of that. So for you, Dr. Spencer, though, you went through all of that. You obviously joined a pretty helpful community to you, right? Based off of what you just shared with us. And ultimately, you did get accepted into PT school this cycle. So what I would like for you to share with us is the day you got accepted into PT school. How did it happen? How did it go down? Break that down for us, and what your initial thoughts were after everything after everything you had experienced prior to that point. Like, what were the things that were like, wow, like, these are the first things that came to my mind? Did you just cry? Did your mind go blank? Did you throw how did you respond? Like, share it with us so that we can relive it with you. But more importantly, I want the students that are listening to this right now to also just vicariously live through that experience, so that they can also start anticipating the day they'll get accepted and say, okay, I'm willing to do whatever I got to do to get to that point. So what was that day like for you? And then I have one final question before we wrap it up.
So I wasn't even to be honest, I was not expecting to get in this round. And so I had my mindset changed. Like, I had already gotten into the accepted system. I was working towards my next goal, preparing for the next cycle. So it wasn't even on my mind. So I was working that day at the hospital with one of my PTs, and we had just finished working with a patient, and I had a missed call. And I was listening to the voicemail, and it was from the director of the program, and he was like, hey, like, I just want to review some things with your profile, like, we just need to, like, talk about these things, like, can you give me a call back when you have a chance? I was freaking out. I told my PT, he had gone to that school that I got the phone call from, and I was like, Clay, they just contacted me. I'm not calling them back. And he's like, what? You need to call them back right now. I was like, I can't. And he's like, give me your phone. And he called them back for me. And it was so casual. Like, the director was just like, hey, can you update me on your profile? Blah, blah, blah. Like, how are you doing? Like, what are you doing right now? And then he was like, yeah, so actually you got in. And I was like, what? I started crying. Tears, like, disgusting, like, red face, like, nasty, like, sobbing. And my PT thought it was like bad news because I looked nasty. And I got off the phone and I was like, I got in. And he's like, oh, I thought it was bad news. Like, why are you crying? And it was because I had worked so hard, and I really didn't, like, my mindset was already on to the next thing. I was like ready to go. Didn't think I was going to get in this cycle. Like, I still can't believe it, honestly.
Wow. Yeah. Like, you crying, and now they're thinking that, you got rejected.
Yeah. He was like, usually they call, like, when you got in, are you okay? I was like, yeah.
You were still trying to process it, like, you're still just shocked still, but yeah, no, for those of y'all listening, like, I don't know how y'all are gonna respond, but man, if you cry, if you throw things, if you just leave work because you just got to, I'm done for today. I'm done. I'll see y'all tomorrow, but nonetheless, y'all, that day means everything. And if being a physical therapist really is your dream, that's the day that I mean, like, what we're telling you is that you have every ability to become a physical therapist. It's one thing that we teach. That's one thing we believe, that every single one of y'all can become PTs. But I think for you as a pre-PT, it's the day that kind of, it's basically like stamped. It's like, all right, you're basically qualified. Like we believe that you can become a physical therapist. That's what the school is telling you, and we want you to do it with us. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful day. It has so many layers, and all the doubts, and sometimes it takes days. I've had students tell me it takes a few weeks to kind of process everything, because you're living that moment, but you're also like, wow, think of all the moments I almost quit. Think of all the moments that other people told me to pick something else. Think of all the moments that, and now all of a sudden you're like, how easy would it have been to just switch paths? How easy would it have been to just be like, yeah, didn't work out the first time. I don't want that to happen again. So let me just do something else, right? And so it should also be a day that you're super proud of yourself, because you've been resilient. You've been able to push through all the hard stuff. And like we said, these interviews are meant to remind you that the hard stuff is common. Other people experience it. You're not the only one. And other people have also been able to endure through it. So appreciate you sharing that with us. Let's go to the final question, and then we're done for tonight. I hope this has been inspiring y'all so far tonight. Have y'all been inspired? Say inspired in the comments below if y'all have been inspired so far. But my final question is, out of everything you've experienced, Dr. Spencer, what would be your words of wisdom? So if you were to talk to the students that are right now still waiting on their acceptance letters, getting ready to apply, maybe starting on their pre-PT journey, based off of everything you've gone through, maybe talk to yourself a year ago or 6 months ago. What are some of the things that you wish someone would have told you? Or what are some of the things that you would like to pass on to other pre-PTs in order to inspire them? And then this will be the final question for tonight. So the floor is yours.
I wish somebody would have told me that, like, this is what you want to do. You are capable, and you will succeed. Whether that takes 1 try, 2 tries, if this is what you want, then you're going to make it happen. And it's important to kind of like get clear guidance, like some clarity, so you're not in like a chasing around doing craziness for a couple of years. Like, you need to be on a straight and narrow path, because you can do this. And I wish I just wish I had that. I wish I had y'all.
Earlier.
Yeah, earlier.
Because you have us now.
Yeah, I have y'all now.
Yeah.
I wish I had y'all earlier to tell me, because there's so many people out there, like people that you love, that are telling you like, you can't do it. Yes, you can. And if you need a reminder, I will tell y'all every day. You can hop in my DMs. I will tell y'all, if I can do it, you can do it. Resilience. That's my word of the season. Resilience.
Powerful. Y'all, I don't know what else to add to this. This is as real as it comes, y'all. This is as real as it comes. This is your dream. Every single one of y'all listening to this that's a pre-PT pursuing physical therapy, this is your dream. This is how you've been called to serve the world, your communities, your family members, whatever that reason is. Hold on to that. Understand that a lot of people won't get it because they haven't lived it, right? And that's why I said, be very careful who you get advice from, right? If it's family, they don't get it. If it's your advisors, come on now. Most of your advisors have never been to PT school, so they don't get it, right? If it's physical therapists, well, I think sometimes we have short-term memory. Like, I know plenty of physical therapists that forgot how hard it was to be a pre-PT. So it's easy for them to just tell you to quit when, it is, so just understand, like just filter everything, and then ask yourself, the conversations I'm having with people, the conversations I'm having with myself, are they getting me closer to getting accepted into PT school? Are they getting me closer to my desire to become a physical therapist, or further? Because if they're drawing me further, then something has to change. If the thoughts I have are drawing me further, then I need to have someone help me shift and transition and flip those thoughts upside down. If the people that I'm talking to are drawing me further, then I need to find different people, right? If I feel if my lack of clarity is drawing me further, then I need to find clarity. I need to find clarity and guidance from somebody, anybody. It could be us. I mean, we're here, but if you don't want to work with us, find somebody that can just help you get there, give you clarity and guidance on what you should be doing. But that's it, because it's your dream. It's your dream. And the only way you will not get into physical therapy school is if you do one thing: quit.
Exactly.
That's it. That's the only thing. You getting rejected the first cycle does not mean that you are not going to be a physical therapist. Listen to Casey's story. Casey got rejected the first time. He's a great physical therapist today, right? And there's plenty of stories. Students that have gotten rejected, one cycle, 2 cycles, 3 cycles, 4 cycles, and they're now in PT school. They're now physical therapists. They're doing phenomenal things. And they don't regret it now. It sucked in the moment. Like it sucked. Like let's not sugarcoat that. Like it sucked. But what they did is they decided to be resilient. They decided that their desire to become physical therapists, their desire to serve in this way, was more powerful and more significant than their desire to have a short-term alternative, a short-term relief, right? And I really do mean short-term. You picking a different career path while you still feel called to be a PT only lasts short-term. It only lasts as long as you're like, oh, I got a new degree, I can do a new job. What happens a year in? Are you still start thinking about that? Ask yourself, if I move away from PT, will I regret it in 10 years? If I go again, if I have to apply again for PT and I become a physical therapist, will I regret that in 10 years, right? If I won't, then I have to pick the route that I'll look back on and say, wow, I made the decision that was in alignment with what I wanted, with what I felt called to do. And if y'all can do that, beautiful things will happen. And don't let anyone else ever take that from you. We both believe in you. We do. Maybe. See, look at that. Dr. Spencer said she believes in you.
If you need to be reminded, I will tell y'all every day.
That's it. So, I mean, you feel free to come back and even listen to this every single day if you need to. But we believe in you, and that's not some fluffy, feel good statement. That's just real. That's just real, because this is a dream that you have, and we believe you can achieve it. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this inspired the mess out of you. Thank you so much, Dr. Spencer, for taking time out of your evening and for us figuring out the whole technical difficulties and finally getting this thing to work. But this was super, super powerful, and I know it inspired me. I hope it inspired y'all. And if this inspired you, feel free to listen to this as many times as you want, but share this with somebody else. Share this with another pre-PT that needs to hear this, because there's a lot of amazing physical therapists that could have been, and I don't want that to be you. So that's it. Anything else, Dr. Spencer?
No, thank you so much for having me on and everything.
Oh, it's my honor. Oh, it's an honor. It's an honor. It's an honor. Just thank you for not quitting on yourself. Thank you, because that's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. All right, y'all. You guys have an amazing one. Listen, we do one of these every single Tuesday night. It usually starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time if Facebook cooperates. So today it was 9:20, but if it cooperates, we usually start at 9 p.m. So every single Tuesday night, if you want to listen to a different story every single week, just come on here, be inspired, but use these live interviews to keep you moving forward. And then ask yourself, do I need direction? If you need direction, go to 𝐻𝑒𝑎cceptanceSystem.com if you want to apply with us. And if you're just hey, I just need something to just give me some quick clarity, go to 𝐻𝑒𝑎cceptancenavigator.com. We're going to teach you what your advisors and your professors have never talked to y'all about. So go there. We got you covered. Y'all have a good one. Much love. We'll talk later. Bye.